everybody.
Evening.
All right, this is the citation of Madam Rosemary Otavie. Rosemary Otavie is a teacher, a writer, and researcher with a passion for storytelling. Born in Otabagi and raised in Port Harcourt, she holds a degree from Niger Delta University and the University of Calabar. Currently pursuing a PhD in critical discourse analysis. Rosemary teaches use of English and communication skills at the Bayelsa State College of Health and Technology. In Pursuit of Motherhood is her second published literary work, following Averys of Dusk. She is a top-rated ghostwriter who has curated numerous stories for private libraries in the US and many other places. Her scholarly papers have been featured in many academic journals, and she lives in Yenagoa with her husband and children. Members of Anna Bayelsa, I present to you our writer of the month, Rosemary Otavie. Our celeb. Okay.
Please, let's put our hands together and walk for our eyes. Okay, so permit me to call on our reviewer. I know some of you are meeting him for the first time. Kubo, do you know him? Anna, you don't know him. Okay, they don't know him. He looks very small. No, when I mean small, not small in the real sense of the word, but he looks in stature very young, like this, as if he's but don't underrate him. He's fire.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so we, unfortunately for us, we did not take down anything like a citation. By the time the idea came into my head, it was too late. But I know he's an award-winning writer. I forgot the name of the award, but there was a time he was given an award for his literary works, presence in the literary space. And I know he's a graduate of English and Literary Studies from the Niger Delta University, and he currently is currently pursuing a master's degree in the same discipline or field. That is correct. Yes. I know him. He's a very good literary scholar. If you read his literary works, his scholarly works, you won't believe it. He's one of the youngest, well-respected, scholars in the literary field. So permit me once again to present to you our young reviewer of the book. I won't say master. I won't say mister. I will say master. Master A.B. Amabebe Alexander. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Emma, was that the citation?
Technically, yes. Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So just add to what he said, just completing the name, Ibimobode Amabebe Alexander, that's the name. So I have here with me a review of Rosemary Otavie's In Pursuit of Motherhood. I'll be reading, and where necessary, I'll point out or I'll give emphasis on certain points. Rosemary Otavie's novella, In Pursuit of Motherhood, is a telephone conversation that explores the societal pressure on the delayed road to motherhood. She paints a picture of the barbarism that exists in 21st century urban Nigeria, the strength and resilience of women who endure the same ridicule as women did prior to the advent of the West in Africa. The novella is compelling for its grim retelling of the mockery and pathetic experience of women considered barren in a typical African society, through the voice of Daba, a first-time mother who endures years of what amounts to assaults on her womanhood. Otavie weaves together issues of child-rearing, societal pressure, support, and the reclaiming of womanhood in a scientific era. The narrative follows Daba, a first-time mother of 5 days, who recounts her experiences to her friend Nengi. While Nengi has been a pillar of support throughout her travels, Daba, in a state of euphoria, finds comfort in retelling the tale. She remembers the snide remarks, mockeries, seemingly innocent questions about her fertility, the experiences of other women in her condition, and the steps she takes to bear a child. Throughout her story, she appreciates the support of her friend and husband and shows immense gratitude for becoming a mother. This goes for the introduction of our work. Analysis. The prominent theme in Otavie's text is individuality. Our protagonist wants to be a part of society so badly that when she falls short, she takes desperate measures to feel among. Her feelings towards having a baby are so strong that she believes having one would save her from the taunts of society. However, in her journey, she learns a great deal about herself and how terrible society is, and her feelings become closed off to it. In other words, Dada's pursuit of a child becomes a goal for her and her husband to build a family. She becomes a conqueror, as she states in the prologue. She puts aside societal expectations and becomes a mother on her own terms. Furthermore, only when she understands that each woman treads her own path does she understand the steps that women like Ungo, her cousin, and her friend Nengi takes as well. I think the first theme of the novella is very, very important, the theme of individuality. We all think when we get certain things in society, we become among. However, I think the novella disabuses our mind to that fact. When you get what you want, it means you have become an individual to yourself. All your gains are not to society, it is to yourself, the fulfilling of your dreams. In this case, the protagonist wants to become a mother. But becoming a mother is not an achievement society takes from you. Say, thank you for becoming a mother for us. No, it is not like that. Our protagonist becomes a mother for herself and her family. And since she is a Christian, as evident in the text, her husband and her are one body. That means the achievement of having a child is hers. It is for her and not for society. She is not giving birth to continue society's legacy, to continue her tribe, rather to build a home with her husband and the child as the center. So I think this first theme is very, very paramount to understanding the text. Additionally, Otavie highlights the theme of the crossroads of biology, science, religion, and traditional medicine. The rule and exception paradox is a mainstay in human society, and Otavie perfectly captures this as she succinctly exposes the truth of an African civilization. Options are available. Through this theme, the novella questions the title of barrenness as Dada gives birth to her own child. Is it barrenness if her eggs play a part in the highly biological process of childbearing? Otavie highlights this in the latter part of the book, after Dada goes through checkups that assure her that she is perfectly capable of bearing a child, pastors that assure her that she has broken the hold of her village people over her womb, and a John masseuse that resets her womb, etc. Otavie tries all of this and nothing works for the protagonist. However, for some others, it works. In the end, one of them works for her. I believe the novella exposes us to a very difficult conversation happening in society today. What works for us? Are we going to remain steadfast in our use of traditional medicine? Are we going to go with science? Or are we going to go with religion? Then what role does biology play? In the protagonist's case, the hospital tells her she is perfectly capable of having a child. She goes to a masseuse, an Ijaw woman, who massages her and tells her that, oh, don't worry, I'm going to reset your womb for you. And this woman, at least to her, says, I have done this. She goes to pastors, religionists, and they all tell her the same thing. Now that you have done all of these things, you've broken the hold of your village people over your womb. And so, by all means, By every sect of society, she is pronounced okay to become a mother, but she does not become a mother until she does something extraordinary. She goes through science. She uses science to get a child. And so we ask the question, or rather the novella asks the question, can she be called a barren woman if by using a tool made by her fellow human beings, she becomes pregnant and delivers a child? Even if you go through whatever biological process you go through, the woman is involved. The woman's organs are involved. The eggs especially are involved. If she goes through a masseuse and she gives birth to the child, after many years, is she a barren person? If she does it through surrogacy, is she still a barren person? Doesn't a part of her emotional travails, her money, if all of these things play a role in bringing a child forth into this world, is somebody truly considered a barren person? Another central theme is the theme of support and friendship, which revolves around Nengi and Daba's husband. Nengi is a character at the other end of the phone, and despite her own life struggles, or perhaps because of it, she is a source of help to her friend. It is to her that Daba complains and cries to, and from her, Daba gets encouragement. The role that Nengi plays is of huge help to the protagonist, who, lacking such a compassionate voice, might have fallen deeper into depression. Daba's husband is also a victim of societal pressure, though in an African society, he gets a lesser version of the heat, but he stands by her. He is with her through everything and does not falter. He and Nengi become symbols of support. Support is one thing that the African culture hinges on. African communities are built on the idea of support, and lacking support, we are going to crumble. The issue of depression in the Western world is in one particular aspect or one particular regard due to the lack of support or community. In Africa, depression is a real issue, and this is what the novella also tells us. But with support, we see that you are able to manage it, like our protagonist was able to do so as well, and to come out from it. Our husband is also a victim in the sense that he also has not given birth to a child. He is going to face societal pressure, but like we know, in Africa, the pressure falls mostly to the woman. Does not mean he would not face. For example, he will be told to go and to procreate outside. He will be mocked by his friends. But we all know it is nothing compared to the emotional travails, even physical at some point in time, that the woman also faces. Other themes in the novella are societal pressure, expectations, and the theme of science. In terms of language, Ottavio's text features a simple and direct diction which makes the story accessible. The use of simple English, Nigerian, and Nigerian Pidgin reflects the use of English currently in Nigeria. The prose is never overly expository, and thus does not slow down the narration. The brevity of the text adds to the authenticity of a phone call and helps drive the narration. The use of language here reflects the typical Nigerian society, where we have a common mix of British, or the standard British English, or the standard American English. We also have the Nigerian English and the Nigerian Pidgin. This is featured in the novella, enabling us to relate with the subject matter at hand. The text is also a very short one. This is why I call it a novella. It does not feature in many events, many characters. But if you see the pattern of the novella, it is a phone call. It is done in the form of a phone call. Having it be longer than this robs it of authenticity. And so you see the brevity of the entire novella makes the conversation seems normal. You can imagine having a 1 hour 55 minutes conversation with your friend talking about crucial issues such as the ones we see in the novella rather. The characters in the novella are splendid, despite meeting the majority of them through what Nengi and Daba says about them. Daba herself is a character whose adulthood has been marred by societal pressure. Nengi is a strong character who finds her womanhood in academic and professional pursuits. Ungo, who becomes a mentor to young women, etc. The characters of the text are superb characters, very amazing characters. We see Daba we know her through her suffering. We understand how she has been able to take the insult society for a very long time, but she gets what she desires in the end. We see our friend Nengi. Nengi is almost in the same boat as Daba, our friend that she is consoling. Nengi's own problem is different, but you see how Nengi decides that if she is not going to give birth to a child, that does not rob her of the title of being a woman. Nobody gets to define what or who a woman is to a woman. It is a woman that is going to decide, and Nengi decides that hers is going to be in a professional and academic life. The next subheading we have is academics, orientation, and medical science. Otave's In Pursuit of Motherhood is a text that has an affinity to academic analysis. This is due to the text's openness to the feminist theory and its American strand, womanism. At their simplest, feminism and womanism are frameworks for analyzing the presentation of women in literary texts. The applications of this theory can give rise to numerous studies. Other theories that the text opens itself to are the interdisciplinary spatial theory, postcolonial theory, and psychoanalysis or psychoanalytical theory. Furthermore, a text is an orientation of modern-day motherhood and the role that science plays. In the text, she mentions IVF, surrogacy, and IUI, intrauterine insemination. This is an important message to a society that claims to be modern, yet wallows in medical-based superstition, backward mentality, and is open to victimizing those who engage in it. The author aims to orient her readers, some of whom have the same initial reaction as Daba and face a similar thinking society. The society we have in Nigeria today depends on what it sees as our ancestral way of living, and so science becomes a threat. Science becomes something that is weird, and so when people choose or have the option to go for surrogacy and IVF, IUI, they are victimized. They are seen as going to something unnatural, something ungodly. However, this novella, as with other texts of the same caliber, aims to orient the readers that see these things are normal in a society. These things are there to help. If you ostracize those that carry out these actions, you are saying that the wisdom of human beings to create and make society a better place for them is wrong, and so these people should not have anything to do with science. And so the cars you enter to your workplace are products of the thinking of men. The same way, the issue that comes with womanhood or the issue that comes with childbearing has been solved by science. Not wanting to do it and victimizing those that engage in it, it's a moral issue. It is completely wrong. Evaluation. The greatest strength of the novella is its topical issue of motherhood and the intellectual way she concludes. The author allows her protagonist to try everything and let her come to the conclusion that science is open to her. This is a full circle because Daba advises others on family planning but shuns other intellectual and scientific ways for her to conceive. And so you see the issue of having a half mentality when it comes to science. In the text, she advises a particular couple on family planning. This is scientific ideology, but when it comes to her own, she then balks at the idea of using science to conceive, but she's able to advise people to use science to take care of their own lives. But you see how at the end she agrees to it. Also, the style of using a long telephone conversation is one of the unique features of the text. The phone call starts at 8 o'clock and ends at 9:55. The call lasts 1 hour and 55 minutes and happens naturally. Two friends talking about one's challenge and victories in life. For chapters, Otavio uses between 5 and 10 minutes to show the passage of time and subtopics of discussions. And so you see, from 8 o'clock to 8:10, they discuss a particular subtopic. From 8:20 to 8:30, I think this conversational style is beautifully done because you get to flow along with the characters. if when you read the text, you can also imagine having a conversation like that. This is how the text captures the reader's attention. Also, the ending is one of the strengths of the novella. Daba does not get a miracle baby, nor does she give up on her search for her own baby. She takes a conscious, intellectual, and non-desperate means to get a child. There is no miracle baby in the text. That at the end of the novella, you then hear that, oh, she has given birth, thanks be to God. No, we are not saying God is not involved, but we are saying that the protagonist takes a conscious step. The novella does not end with her getting a miracle baby out of nowhere. It does not end with her going to try other men apart from her husband, but rather you see her take conscious steps, legal and moral steps, to get her own baby. In terms of weakness, one glaring weakness is the exaggeration of the actions of some of the women in Daba's recollection. The author protagonist says that women come up to her and poke her belly. While this is not unusual in some cases, Otavie seems to suggest that Daba has so many friends, neighbors, and tribeswomen who have access to come to poke her stomach. This exaggeration strays from the believable actions of society members in the text. Not necessarily a problem, however, it seems a literary exaggeration, if you could call it such, that people come and start poking a stomach or why haven't you given birth. It is plausible and it happens in society, but the novella seems to suggest it is a normal occurrence or daily occurrence in the life of the protagonist. Conclusion: Tavie's novel, In Pursuit of Motherhood, is a significant contribution to Nigerian literature, especially in terms of motherhood and its images in the 21st century. It is a remarkable text and highly recommendable for students of African literature, gender studies, and even viable at the JAM level, as it offers insight into a modern issue in such a critical way. Thank you.
I'm tempted to even say praise the Lord. Wow. Please, let's put our hands together one more again.